You, we are live now, right? Everything working? Everybody can hear me? We're all there? Hi. Blink twice if you understand me. I'm Greg Tito, and welcome to Dungeons & Dragons News. Hey! Yay! Hello, news! Yes, okay, good. People are alive. We're alive! Thank you so much. It's so nice to get your smiling faces here. I am excited to talk about all the things that are happening today in Dungeons & Dragons news. There is a lot. I'm going to get right to it because I want to make sure I talk about everything that is fun and amazing, including Anubis 9311. Hi. How are you? You're fun and amazing. Hello. Okay, everybody's blinking. That's good. I'm glad you're blinking. Yay! We have a new game that we want to talk about called Warriors of Waterdeep. We are partnered with a design team called Ludia. It's a free-to-play turn-based RPG, more like a, not so much an RPG, more like a lane fighter. You'll still be able to get all the fun RPG mechanics, leveling up your person and fighting through folks. Super interesting and fun. The trailer looks awesome. We've seen a few vertical slices of it here in the building, and it's one of those fun games that you can just pick up on your phone and just play a couple of minutes. So I'm excited about that because there's a lot of times in my life where I need to do things like that. There's awesome D&D lore in there. You can do quests and stuff for the Laeral Silverhand, who is the open lord of Waterdeep right now in that city, Merc the Moneylender, as well as Durnan, the proprietor of the Yawning Portal. So you can see all of their representations in the trailer itself, which is pretty badass. We're going to just drop a link to that trailer in there in case you guys want to check it out. And oh yes, and D&D actually even has some awesome links in the chat already, so go check it out. We also I want to give a shout out to Jason Wilson over at GamesBeat or VentureBeat. He wrote up a great story about the Warriors of Waterdeep, yeah, it was just a great little deep dive into the brand manager, Stephen David Wark, and all the details that were shared there, even in Dragon Plus last hour with Bar Carroll. So good stuff. Can't wait to check it out. Go if you want to find out more about the game. The VentureBeat article is a great place to start too, and I think we're going to be dropping a link in there pretty soon. So that you can check out what we're talking about. But we're excited about the Warriors of Waterdeep. It's a great new opportunity. We're able just to play on your mobile, I think is a super fun way to interact with what makes Dungeons & Dragons fun. And all the lore, can't go wrong there. But anyways, another new fun story that dropped this week that I want to make sure you guys know about is R.A. Salvatore is writing a new book in the Drizzt storyline. That's right, it's called Timeless. It will be out on September 18th. We can show you the cover right now. That's what it looks like. That is Drizzt Do'Urden, I believe, on the cover, or maybe not, because a lot of the plot of this is going to be back in time, so to speak. That's why it's called Timeless, and it takes place, or at least portions of it take place centuries ago in Menzoberranzan, and kind of get some of the backstory behind Zaknafein, who is Drizzt's dad, in case you were wondering, his sire, and Jarlaxle, who is a longtime fan favorite character, kind of a flamboyant drow elf, almost serves as a foil to Drizzt sometimes. He's a sometimes villain, sometimes friend. Great to see that they explore that relationship a little bit more, and it's interesting how Jarlaxle's influence might have influenced Zaknafein and back and forth, and let Drizzt be kind of the character that he is. So I'm pretty excited about the new book. And again, it's coming out September 18th. You can go pre-order it now if you like at HarperCollins. They are working really closely with us and Bob on making sure that Timeless is exactly what D&D fans want to see. So cool. Excited about that. There is also an awesome thing I want to talk to you about because Unearthed Arcana went live this Monday. That's right. We are on a a once a month schedule a bit for Unearthed Arcana. If you don't know what that is when the Dungeons & Dragons team releases playtest information out into the wild with new and exciting things to test out for you to try. And so this one is called Into the Wild. It was out yesterday, as I said, and it's all about new rules for wilderness travel, kind of exploring different ways. There's like a navigation DC, bringing back some of the older stuff that you might have seen from other editions into this edition, how to resolve activities in the travel, as well as random encounters, and how to use them a little bit better. One thing that I like about this too is it gives an example of exploring in a specific area called the Moon Hills, and what some of the the navigation DCs might be as you're looking for things and stuff like that. So nice way to integrate tables into your overland exploration of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm a big fan of the simulationist kind of way of playing, where you put your players out into the world and they have to do whatever they can do and make the choices that they want to go to. Maybe they go to a dungeon and you end up having a normal dungeon crawl, or maybe they go to a city and get embroiled in the politics there. But through those things, the travel, the journey is just as important. So I'm excited to jump into that. Rules sets there. There isn't a lot of information in here that will translate to D&D Beyond. This is a little bit more for the Dungeon Master. But one thing you should note is that you can test Unearthed Arcana material in D&D Beyond. In fact, last month's is still up there now. There was 3 subclasses that you can play around with and create a player character in D&D Beyond. Pretty cool. I'm forgetting, there was a Circle of the Spores Druid, the Brute Fighter, and the Invention Wizard, School of Invention. So you can still check those out. When Unearthed Arcana new ones pop up that will have sub-races or things that you can involve in the mechanics of D&D Beyond, they will be available a week afterwards. More just to make sure that it all gets to test. But like I said, I don't think the Into the Wild stuff will make it on there, but maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe Adam Bradford and his awesome team at Curse will be able to figure out a way to get that in there. At the very least, you will be able to download the material, I believe, through D&D Beyond as well. All right. So here's a fun little cool thing. I know there's lots of critters in the D&D fandom, people who love to watch Critical Role. There's also seems to be this crossover with fans of the musical Hamilton, and they are producing, the fans of Critical Role are producing, or have produced rather, a, gosh, I don't even know what to call it, like a mashup album. It's almost like a Weird Al Yankovic rewriting of Hamilton the musical, using the music from Hamilton to tell the story of the last Critical Role campaign. And it all sounds really exciting. It's called Vox Machina, an Exandrian musical. Here's the album cover there. And they're having an event that will be a listening party that is all going to be for the folks who are involved in this. Again, this project started back in mid-2017 and kind of have amazing amount of facts involved in this, such as more than 200 people sent in tracks in over a month. Over 70 singers were cast from 6 countries on 4 continents. More than 40 artists donated their artwork to create the beautiful album art. It took about 2 months to mix and master. And where's the one that has the, oh yeah, so there's 46 songs on this album, and that's nearly 2.5 hours of music. Again, it's pretty interesting to see the community come together and create this kind of awesome thing. So you should check it out. I believe the album is releasing on February 23rd. So that's just next week. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, you can go to check out the listening party that is going to be at the Guildhall Bar on February 27th. There's an Eventbrite link in there that we'll show you too. Again, if you're in that area, go check it out. It's pretty amazing, and I just wanted to support how amazing this this whole thing is. I can't wait to listen to it as a fan of both Critical Role and Hamilton. Man, when I was walking around the streets of New York, gosh, that was in September. I was like, oh, let me just put on Hamilton, and it was just the best time I had possibly in the last 6 months, strolling around Midtown with the Hamilton music in the same. And so I will be doing that, maybe strolling around the Pacific Northwest, listening to Vox Machina, an Exandrian musical, doing the same thing. Feeling pretty badass about myself. All right, so Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. We announced that. Geez, that was just last week we announced that? Yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago, but it was just last Monday. Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes is a new supplement for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's chock full of information on all the conflicts of the multiverse. Not all of them, many of the largest conflicts of the multiverse. So there's information on the Blood War, which is the ever battle between the devils and the demons. There's information on Drow. So if you're interested in finding out more about why Drizzt Do'Urden is the way he is and his people are the way they are, you can find out about that in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, about why they split and Lolth split from the rest of the elves. It's pretty interesting stuff. So I can't wait to delve into that. And you can delve into it on May 29th is the wide release. We have 2 covers for the book. You'll be able to get this cover on May 29th everywhere you can. You can also get at your local game store 11 days earlier this cover. Which looks just like this. And we love this alternate cover so much. It's made by Vance Kelly. And as you can see, we used it for basically the background for all of our Twitch stuff, our Twitter profiles, all of the above. So you can get that again on May 18th in hobby stores. Shout out to the cover artist Vance Kelly, as well as the artist Jason Rainville, who created this cover. I think it's awesome. Cool. All right, again, we'll be talking about more and more about that. I did see on Twitter, MT Black, Merrick Black, talked to Luca Gygax, who is Gary Gygax's son, who runs GaryCon in Madison, Wisconsin, which is coming up next month. By the way, if you haven't done that, if you're in that area, go check it out. But he checked with him to find out how Gary Gygax pronounced Mordenkainen, and it's not, it's Kanan, is how Gary pronounced it. That was Gary's character, the wizard Mordenkainen that he played with when he was a player at the table when Rob Kuntz was the dungeon master. So pretty exciting. It is a character from the city of Greyhawk. That's where he was kind of born. Again, that's where Gary played with him. And since then, he's found his way through the rest of the multiverse. And he kind of looks like Ming the Merciless, but that's okay. I think he's still kind of a nice guy. He's definitely going to share all of his knowledge and all of the foes that he has defeated over time with you. All right, so Neverwinter Lost City of Omu is coming out also on February 27th. So what a great time. You listen to the Exandrian musical and you can play on your PC the new mini expansion from Neverwinter. That's where you can play as any one of the character classes you know and love from Dungeons & Dragons in the 3D MMO set basically in the city of Neverwinter, but it goes to all over the world. I'm giving you the quick pitch on what Neverwinter is in case you didn't know. They are now in Chult. There's a Port Nyanzaru quest hub there where you can get monster hunts from Volo and all of the above. And then in this final expansion, Lost City of Omu, you can jump into the city itself and explore through the Tomb of Annihilation. So I'm excited about that, and you should be too if you are a Neverwinter fan. And if not, why not? It's free. Go check it out. It's worth jumping in and loving all of your Dungeons & Dragons lore in Neverwinter. So do that. Speaking of Neverwinter, Neverwinter Nights is in a game that is kind of in the lore of Dungeons & Dragons computer games. It might be the longest standing and or running game. It came out in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, and God, that's 15 years ago. That's insane to think about. That's 15 years ago. Woo, that's like a lifetime ago. Neverwinter Nights was an RPG. You could play it on your PC. It was renowned not just for its single-player campaign, which people really loved, especially the expansions. It was renowned for being able you can play with the Aurora toolset and make whatever modules you wanted, including persistent modules. So you could put up a server, have rules be set in place for people to come in and join your server, and you can basically serve as a dungeon master for the games that would unfold digitally. It was kind of interesting, and there's a cool article on Vice right now on Vice Waypoint that talks about why Neverwinter Nights kind of remains the most faithful D&D adaptation ever made, is their opinion. At the onset of the online gaming era, Neverwinter Nights was the digital tabletop. And what's cool about what's going on with Neverwinter Nights, as we look back on it, is that Beamdog, the company that has brought you Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition, maybe even some Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition, they're now working on the Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition, and the coolest part about that after my conversation with Trent Oster from Beamdog, is that all of the modules and all of the amazing material that has been created in that Neverwinter Nights community over the last 15 years will all work seamlessly with the Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition, which I think is an amazing feat of engineering. If you are any kind of programmer, you know that going back in time like that is never easy. So Beamdog is working really hard on ironing out all those bugs, making sure Neverwinter Nights works on new operating systems as well as older ones, with any kind of hardware that you could possibly get, improving the UI and basically improving the game and getting it up to a playable state for our more modern sensibilities. None of the content will change. None of the things you remember and love about Neverwinter Nights will change, other than it will just work. So I'm excited about that. No specific release date yet. I know they're working hard on it, smashing some bugs. They called it like a special kind of bugs. I think it was like level A bugs were still being worked on. So once those get ironed out, I think they'll have a much clearer roadmap as to when you can start thinking about playing Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. But I hope it's soon. I hope it is soon. All right, so, gosh, I think I actually screwed up and didn't put in more of the things I wanted to talk about in here. So, we're gonna go a little bit crazy.
This one.
Oh yeah, right, that was one of them. So there is, go ahead and show it.
Yeah.
Check this out. This t-shirt is now available in Hot Topic stores as well as online at the Hot Topic, Vampire store where all the vampires shop. You can get it. I think it is a pretty cool t-shirt. It's an old school Mind Flayer art. It has the stat block from the original Monster Manual that held the Mind Flayer stats on there. I think it's pretty cool. You should go check it out. Yes, hijinks time, Mazmataz. There is hijinks aplenty. Oh, and hi, Alice of Carol. I am having a pretty good day. That's a lie, actually. I'm having a pretty awful day. But I'm putting on a good face. That's what we do for the D&D news, right? As I told Mazmataz earlier, I'm feeling dangerous today. Things might go crazy and off the rail. Maybe I will eat some brains and buy this t-shirt for all of you people out there. That might be just kind of the crazy thing that happened. But again, you can get this on the website for Hot Topic, or just go into your random store. Trevor Kidd put up the link. It is there for you for the purchasing if you like. We always like to show off when we get more licensed material out there in the public. I know Bart Carroll, I think, was wearing a purple shirt that we don't think is available quite yet. But yeah, I guess I just didn't put it in here because I'm a fool. But one other cool thing that happened, was that yesterday?
Last week.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Just throwing this out there because it's a fun little thing. We highlighted the Arby's tweet a couple weeks ago when they did the rolling of the D20. Here's something that Old Spice put up just last week, a class about the distinguished gentleman. I think they might be working on it so it's a gentle person class so that all people can play. It uses some of the format from the 3.5 era of Dungeons and Dragons, but it is otherwise a pretty faithful representation of what a class would look like. And I just think it's pretty amazing that in fact, I think it might even have been Jason Wilson, if you're still listening, said this on Twitter. It was the deodorant and/or fragrance that your grandfather wore is now talking about Dungeons and Dragons on Twitter. Kind of amazing when you put that all together in your brain. It's not so. I'm excited about more and more people jumping into the Dungeons and Dragons world, and it's funny to see with things like Old Spice, as I mentioned, Arby's, Sue the T-Rex, which is a social media account run by a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Natural History Museum in Chicago. All that kind of fun stuff. It just tickles us, and we get really excited about it. So what better place to highlight it than here? So if you're interested, I think you can actually download that class if you want to get into it. Yes, there it is, the Gentle Person class. Or did they change it already?
I just did that.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. I think I saw someone say like, oh yeah, they were going to change up some of the language because it does make a little bit of sense. So yeah, and also I wanted to highlight this, although I don't think I have I mean, there's a picture of it, I know. Yes, that one. The Kotaku article written by Gita Jackson about her A themed group. It reminded me very much of Satine Sirens of the Realms storyline, where they were all bards, all female bards, an all-girl bard band going through the jungles of Chult. It was very, very similar kind of storyline, but they all rolled up bards and had a great time. And I think there's even a quote in there where Gita says that she is you're going to tell this story that happened around this RPG table for years to come, and I think that's pretty awesome. So shout out to Gita Jackson for writing this article, and I'm excited to see more and more people do crazy stuff like that. Wait, no one can hear me? No audio.
We got it.
Okay. Oh gosh, how much did you miss? Did you miss all that stuff talking about the Kotaku?
2 or 3 seconds.
2 or 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Whew, I was close. All right, another 2 or 3 second break. Such a good break. We are getting very, very excited about Dice Camera Action starting. It's going to be in about 6 minutes or so. I know Chris Perkins had to run back home and feed Milo before he came back into the studio to get ready to go for you guys. So it is amazing. We'll have Rachel Seeley back here as a guest. They are dealing, I believe, with the ticking bomb, right? Or that didn't finally blow up, did it?
They disabled it temporarily.
Oh, they did. Okay, good. That's what I was worried about. I watched about halfway through last episode, and then I had to run out and I never got up. But we will see what happens next. I think everyone is clamoring for one of those feel-good episodes rather than the tense, nail-biting, let me eat my hand, drink all of the wine available type episodes. But we shall see. I don't know. Sometimes Chris likes to take those screws and twist them a little bit more. But we're going to be pretty excited about that. We also have a lot of other fun stuff happening here on the Dungeons & Dragons Twitch channel. We thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed. We really appreciate it. It all goes towards supporting and making this here channel better with more and more content. We have, after Dice Camera Action from 4 to 6 p.m., we have at 6 p.m. an awesome show called Waffle Talk, run by Sean at PowerScore RPG. We'll be hosting it here, so go check it out if you want to have an immediate discussion after with what happened during the episode. That's the place to do it. We're thinking about moving that to a different, or asking Sean to move it to a different day more so we can just support it a little bit better, because we have content coming out right after. I believe Maze Arcana is set to go with some fun stuff with Kyle Vogt is still DMing, I believe, tonight. Yeah. We shall see, but it is pretty exciting, and you should check all of it out. Tomorrow we are hosting Acquisitions Incorporated, the C Team. It's been awesome having Kate Welch here in the building for the last week. God, she really only started a week ago too. Things are happening so fast around here. It's insane. But it's great to see her face every day as she's working on the galleys and kind of learning the process of getting a book out the door. I think that actually is going to happen tomorrow. We're going to actually send out the files to the printer for Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So that's pretty exciting. It's been a really nice time to be in the building, and to see her excitement about getting into the process has been really great. So again, we'll be hosting her on the C Team tomorrow. That's where that started. And then on Thursday, we have Codename Entertainment, Idle Champions. We'll be streaming from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. That is where you get to hear all about what's happening in the world of Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. If you're not sure what that is, it is a game on early access on Steam right now, where you can send out your adventurers and collect loot, kill treasures, and do it all in real time. So even though you set up everything, you can walk away from your desk, go do some other stuff, even log out of the game, and it all will continue to happen. And then you check back in, and all that loot that you've collected, you can spend to level up and more optimize your characters. Great stuff. Lots of fun characters in there, including Regis from one of the companions of Drizzt. It was available in a most recent event that goes on there. Lots of bi-weekly events happening all the time in Codename Entertainment's thing. So you can check out their stream all about that Thursday at 1 p.m. And then, of course, we'll be hosting Critical Role here. On Friday, we host our friends Trent Oster and Philip Daigle at Beamdog. And then Tales from Candlekeep is an awesome way to interact with more of a strategy layer for Tomb of Annihilation storyline. That is at 12 noon on Friday. And then Roll20 presents Dance will be back at on Fridays at 1 p.m. this Friday. That's Adam Coble, who Bar Carroll just spoke to on Dragon Plus last hour. So if you want to listen to that interview, go check it out. I asked him to I didn't get a chance to watch the interview yet, but I asked him to ask how he looks so dang good on those streams. The video just looks really crisp. So we're learning from all of our partners and streamers. So that's pretty awesome. And then the Dragon Friends at 5 p.m. on 5 p.m. Pacific time are back again. They are our amazing Australian friends. There's Eden Lacey, Simon Granier, Ben Jenkins, Alex Lee, and Michael Hing, all playing crazy weirdo characters. They are, if you're not familiar with them, they are Australian improv comedians, and they go kind of off the rails a little bit. But David Harmon, the Dungeon Master, likes to keep them in, I don't know, in check, I guess you could say, but they just met Acererak in the Tomb of Annihilation, and Dave is like, you know what, I sometimes get accused of going easy on you guys, and that's it, all bets are off when they fight Acererak. So I'm interested to see how the comedians deal with that. Then on Saturday, we got Encounter Roleplay, Learn by Play at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and that's where Dungeon Master Will Jones will do some gameplay and then take you guys aside and let you know why he was thinking the way he did, why he made the decisions that he did as a Dungeon Master. So if you're interested in finding out about the art of Dungeon Mastering, that's a great way to check it out. And they have named themselves the Wild Cards, I believe, in their new streamline. So there's Sydney Shields, Jay Tallsquall, Greg Strangle, and Chelsea Stevenson. Go check them out Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then finally, we'll be hosting Maze Arcana Orphan Echo as they adventure in Eberron, which is an awesome steampunky fantasy setting. If you're not familiar with that, you should. And that's a great way to get in Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Cool. I will be out for Dungeons & Dragons news next week. That's right. No Dragon news, Dungeons & Dragons news from me, but I believe Bart Carroll will be stepping in and giving you all the news you may want and need and love. No Dragon Talk live recording. We'll be doing some vodcasts of that next Monday, but we'll be back on February 26th with some awesome, great content. I believe I'm talking to Mario Ortega, which you might notice from the chat here. He goes by the name Elwarius. We'll be talking about his stream and what it's like playing Dungeons & Dragons in a country where they speak Spanish. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we'll be back with me and Shelly in that interview on Monday. So I won't see you guys until then, February 26th. But in the meantime, you stay thirsty, and I'm going to give this to Chris Perkins right now for Dice Camera Action starting right now. Yay!